Merry Christmas and Afre Linik Afrelik Hanukkah. Sorry, I was trying to do it in Yiddish. I'm going to give people a few to roll in. Hey, Wingspan, Linda, Freddie, Toker. Good to see you, bud. Freddie, Swine. Who else did I see in here? Oh, Mrs. Netcow. Have you guys opened presents yet, Mrs. Metcalf? Okay, I'm going to do a little something different before we get into the stupidness, and I'm going to break it up into segments on doing this just to Justin Thompson, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. So, sounds not good. Yeah, I left my ex's house after spending all morning with her and the girls, opening presents and watching Christmas movies. Oh, my audio is not good. Let me see what is going. How is that? Is that better, Toker? Let me know. Hey, Freeman Press. Okay. Yeah, I had my microphone sitting way over on the edge of my desk. Kind of a not the best place for it to be. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to do a little something different to break up the monotony. So let's watch a police chase and see how this works out. So, State Boys is usually in Georgia, and Georgia State Patrol does not play when it comes to doing pit maneuvers. Yep, there we go. This is their Christmas special. I don't know how he's driving with that dirty windshield because oh, dude. I don't understand why police do these high-speed chases on two-lane roads. It just seems extremely dangerous. Hey, Cap.
What? Just wait to get the yellow Camaro. Somebody get the yellow Camaro. Get on the ground.
Oh, man, he didn't put it in park.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. I got you. Get out the car. I'm not resisting. Please. Stop out, please. You already resisting. I'm not. I promise you, I'm good. You ran. Bro, I got scared, bro. I thought y'all was in my car. Your car definitely got hit. Your car definitely did get hit.
Definitely get hit. Don't you know that's kind of what we do?
If you would have stopped, you would have never got hit. Bro, I get scared as fuck when police are wrong.
Okay, well that's probably something you should probably focus on.
Oh, really, Toker? I think some agencies do, like Florida does. They have to.
I don't know. No, he didn't call. He's right there. No,
That wingspan, especially in Arkansas. Arkansas, then Atlanta, I think, is probably the two worst. All right. I'm just going to do them one at a time. So let me take that one down. Yeah, South Texas is pretty bad too, wingspan. Our favorite. So this is Todd's from a few days ago, where he's covering Candace Owens saying, I won Anti-Semite of the year. And I watched about 20 minutes of it, and I've got, I think, about 6,000 words already. Let me see. Yep, 6,059 words already typed up on this.
Yes. And going to pull up my co-host in 3, 2. No farting now. 1. What up, rats?
Nope, I took care of business down in the basement.
Beans, the magical fruit. The more you have, the more you.
Dude,
I'm going to
Yes.
AI through this.
there's rabbit turds in the basement.
Oh, that's good fertilizer. I can go right in. That's good. Considered a
And I
cold
added to
fertilizer.
them because of the miracle with
Right, Swine?
Oh.
It's revenge turds.
Oh, well, that's not nice. That's not nice. Peter K.A., what's up? Karma, good to see you. I think I said hi to most everyone else. Stefan, you are back, okay. And Ben Worthington. Hi, Ben Worthington. He said, oy vey, Ben Worthington. Oy vey, indeed. L'chaim, I believe, is the appropriate terminology on that one, right? Mr. James Reedy, good to see you. The more you toot, the better you feel. So let's have beans for every meal. Yes, there was more to that.
Jelly beans?
Yeah, jelly beans. That's like my favorite thing, dude. Like, no joke. I love jelly beans. I haven't had a jelly bean probably about a year now.
Did you, Toker?
I love jelly beans. It's like ice cream jelly beans. That's my weakness. Miss Lisa Links, Texas. I love Candace Owens, as do I. She's amazing.
Lisa Lynn.
And good to see you. I haven't seen you in saying hi in the chat in a while. And what do we got? 21 people in the chat. How many thumbs ups are we sitting at here, folks?
Come on, people. Hit the like. Just because I forget doesn't mean everybody else needs to.
Right. So we're going to kind of, I want what was your reaction when I said to you that Candace Owens, oops, what am I doing? I did the wrong window, sorry. It's going to go infinite, boys. What was your reaction when I told you asked me what the show was going to be about tonight? What did I say to you? And do you want to share?
You said it was going to be about Candace Owens, the #1 anti-Semite, right?
Anti-Semite of the year.
Of the year. And I choked because I was eating something at the time because I thought it was funny and I thought it was your title. And then later on you told me you were serious.
Yes, she won the award. So what you're going to see here, folks, if you've been paying attention, there's a certain group of people. Now there's different tiers, right? These, the ones coming after me are real low tier people, right? Like super, like we're talking like the farm team, not even the farm team. We're talking like T-ball. We're talking like the T-ball version, right? The T-mo version of the Mossad agents that are.
Am I a T-mo Mossad agent? Man, that's That's a terrible insult. I would rather be the Alibaba team.
Going out to try to destroy anyone that may criticize the mighty Netanyahu, right? Or I bless Israel. I don't curse Israel. The Bible says those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. But Israel means he who struggles with God. I don't know that it's necessarily only a location in the world. I also think it's a destination of one's heart. So I struggle with God. Rats, do you struggle with God?
Oh yeah.
So we're Israel. I'm Israel. Are you Israel? I'm Israel. We're all Israel.
Hang on, Justin. It's me. Yeah, they never want to acknowledge the Mormons. That would make them look bad. I've told him many times that it if Christianity is real, then you need to tape the Mormon Bible onto the back of the New Testament, and then Scientology on the back of that. He doesn't like that too much. So he says we're all Israel, right? Is the echo gone, by the way? Okay, good. When I'm usually doing my shows, I have I usually do not have my sound on. So sorry, I'm pulling my boss Hefe here. I know. Yeah, I'll play it here in a second. I was trying. Let me see.
If you're struggling with God.
Yeah.
So that said, well, without too much further ado, would you like to get into it?
Let's go. I haven't even heard about it.
Let's shall.
An echo now.
By the watchdog group appropriately named Stop Antisemitism, because apparently Jewish people everywhere are terrified when they wake up and they envision who to be terrified about. It's little old me.
Damn it. Okay, that should eliminate everything.
We've definitely got to discuss that. Also, I really want to get to Caitlin Clark because she has been under fire recently. She gave an interview to Time Magazine because she was their Athlete of the Year, and she mentioned her white privilege.
Does that give
And people
y'all
are
any
outraged on the right, which is different because normally the left is
echo?
outraged about her. And I don't know if I'm just like getting soft in my old age, but I am like Team Caitlin Clark, and I find the conservative response to be very annoying. So we're going to discuss that, all that plus more coming up
Patient
on
Kelly.
Candace.
All right, so let's talk for a moment. Let me take that down and talk for a moment about what Todd said about we are all Israel, right? Where's my tabs? Hey, Jenny with an eye. Okay. I'm going to zoom this because my old eyes can't see it very well. So, on this, Todd is right about the definition, one who struggles with God. The origin of the name is Israel, however, comes from a biblical verse in Genesis. Yeah, Genesis, referring to our forefather Jacob. Your name is Israel because you struggled with God and with man and prevailed. So he's talking about how he struggled with Esau and Laban, and he kept winning out. So indeed, Jacob's life was a relentless series of struggles. He clashed with his brother Esau. He was swindled by his father-in-law Laban, and he even wrestled with an angel. But he always came out on top, so he prevailed. So Jacob and the nation that came from him are called Israel. Thank you, Jenny, with I. As soon as the sun sun goes down, I'll have to take a break for it to do my prayer and light my candles. but I'll leave it on. I'll share it with you guys. You won't be able to see me because I've got to go over there. So, thank you, Spider Dog. Toker, that sounds like a perfect day, bud. Except the king prawns can't eat those and most cold cuts. So, I'll- oh, I started the video, obviously, with my headphones. So the descendants of Jacob is who the promise of being Israel is. Um, so Todd is absolutely wrong in that Israel is a descendant of Jacob. Um, Jacob's descendants are very well tracked. You can do your genealogies back to rabbis can do it all the way back to Aaron. So it's not a difficult thing to do. Anyway, we will drop back to more of Todd being dumb. Hey, Joey Simpson and Rebecca, Dirty South Cats. It's in the Bible. Jeannie with an I, but my part of the Bible is only good when it's convenient to Todd.
Where do we begin? I think we just have to jump right into this amazing New York Post article. And it's amazing because of not just how they announced it, but the quote that they were able to get from Stop Antisemitism's founder, which is a woman named Leora Rez. So they announced that firebrand pundit Candace Owens has been named the...
So Leora Rez is a Ashkenazi from the Ukraine. As I'm Ashkenazi. Okay, Ron Henderson. Okay. What, Toker, we are prohibited from making an idol to God, and just writing his name out is a form of idolatry. So that is how we write it. Should be in sync. Now I'm gonna have a bye stuck in my head. Okay. Oh, so then her family moved to Russia, where they again suffered extreme anti-Semitism just for being Jewish. And then went to England. So I think that she went to England, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, she's the one that founded to stop anti-Semitism.
The Anti-Semite of the Year by the watchdog group Stop Antisemitism.
All right, let's rewind that a second. Let's just kind of like, I know what are your thoughts on this right here? New York Post. There's some would say that a lot of these organizations have been bought out by certain media moguls that happen to have a particular origin or background. Kanye West. Go ahead. What are your original thoughts? I mean, look at it. Here it is in print.
First of all, I hate the New York Post. I
Okay.
hate all the New York scandal sheets. That's about all I can call them. They're nothing but pieces of crap.
Mhm.
Hey, Pat's Cats. And Toker, you are correct. She cannot get a visa to come to Australia because of her extreme views. So think about that. They won't even let her into a prison colony. Toker, I live in a former prison state of the same empire that made yours a prison colony. So we have that in common. And weird accents. Hey, Danny.
I am just incredulous
You know what that means?
because just because she didn't agree with everything that precious Ben Shapiro.
I did, Jenny. With my grandparents, my parents wouldn't attend because, you know, they got converted by missionaries, turned them messianic.
Ben Shapiro thought that she should. I mean, this is what they're doing to her. Good. I hope she does double the money that any of them ever do.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when you take the carrot, you forget about the stick that's behind it, right? Um, when you sell out, a lot of times it ends up becoming a Faustian deal. Like for instance, Brett Cooper is the latest quote unquote survivor of the Daily Wire. Now I don't have any. I have a little bit of a quote unquote suspicion, right? That she kind of went the same way as or was done poorly the same way Candace was. Now there are some rumors from the quartering, from Jeremy from the quartering that Brett Cooper may be joining up with Candace. I hope so. I think Brett Cooper has the it factor. I think Brett Cooper has qualities that you either have it or you don't.
Careful, Todd. Brett Cooper is a Jew. She is 100% Ashkenaz.
I mean, you can mock someone or you could try to imitate someone. You either have what it takes or you don't, right? And
Pat's, she wasn't that bad until she married her husband and then became deeply anti-Semitic. That's when her and Ben Shapiro had a huge falling out. But so her husband was and is still a very good friend of Andrew Tate and his brother. He was one of the Tate Bros Can you hear me now? Hello. Okay. I don't know what the heck the computer was saying my friggin' mic was unplugged, and I plugged it up and unplugged it every like 5 times. Okay. What was the last thing y'all heard? I don't know. Sort of. Okay. Hopefully okay, so he's friends with the Tape Bros, and her and Ben had a real falling out after that, because that's when she started really espousing anti-Semitic rhetoric. So that was the reason for all of that. He is a member of a super ultra conservative Catholic society. Patch, yeah, she changes them about as fast as Todd does. So anyway, let us see what else.
And it's one of those situations where if you don't kiss the ring, like for instance, from my understanding, is Candace Owens was actually basically blacklisted, no pun intended, because she said Jesus is Lord or Jesus is King, and she was accused of that being a dog whistle, an anti-Semite dog whistle. So it seems to me like the Daily Wire seems to have a problem with Candace Owens practicing her religion.
Yeah, Jenny with an I. Ben wears a yarmulke, and he is a Orthodox Jew. He's made no aspersions about that. Now, do I think he's a schmarmy little shit? Yes, I do. I like him just as little as I like her. So, howdy ho. Did the squid get his present yet? No, by no means do I like him, Jenny. He is very weaselly. Giggity. No, I was at the X's with the kids most of the day, so what did he think, and what did you think of the new the branding? Danny, but he was on the wrong side of the tribe of Judah. There's no mistaking that Jesus was a Jew and was a rabbi. It's not about that. It's about how the claims work and everything else. Oh, did you look him up? Well, he was a Nazarene, Pat, which he, I I don't want to get into all that tonight, but because I'm peace, brick. Yeah, Jenny with an I. Some somewhere around March. We know it definitely wasn't December, but and it was sometime between 4 BCE and 2 CE. Good, good. All right, let us continue.
As she would see fit, trying to curtail her First Amendment rights on her personal time, on her personal channel. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Is that
There's no curtailing of First Amendment rights by a private corporation. Only the government can curtail your First Amendment rights. If you're working for a corporation and they don't like what you're saying, they can fire you. It is a can of worms, spider dog. Absolutely, Pat. He tried to blame it on the Jews after he did it because of the outrage over his crucifixion, and he didn't want to revolt.
is that xenophobic?
That's xenophobic.
Well, it's Christophobic. By the way, being a Christophobe or a Christo-fascist is a new word that see, we're starting to fight fire with fire, right? They make up all these terms to try to shut you up if you don't like what they're about, whether it be anti-Semite, xenophobe, Islamophobe, homophobe, transphobe. I mean, all these things that you're quote unquote not allowed to be scared of, even though it's actually the translation means an unreasonable fear of something. Unreasonable, right? Like a paranoid or an irrational fear. That's what I meant, or an irrational fear or something. So Christophobe or Christo-fascist is a term that we can start using now to weaponize, to shame people that would try to tell us we're not allowed to worship how and who we want to worship freely. But yeah, I don't know about xenophobic.
Isn't that because of a religion? Just
No.
No specific one.
No. Xenophobic is fear of people from the outside coming in. So Christophobia is a phenomenon that is worldwide. There were 4,800 Christian deaths this year. 90% of them were in Nigeria, a lot to do with Boko Haram. So a fear of people being Christophobic in America is ridiculous. Unless he's going to go to Africa or certain South American countries. So moving on, I can pull up the receipts on the anti-Christian biases worldwide, but it will show that about 4,800 deaths attributed to anti-Christian bias. So I'm sorry, not South American countries, Asian countries. So Asia and Africa, especially Nigeria, since 98% of the 4,800 fell in there.
I think xenophobe is someone that doesn't like outsiders coming into their organization or into their country. I think maybe it's a xenophobe definition. Let's see. I just want to make sure. So we'll go ahead and share this. All right. Hold on. I don't know if you can see this or not. Actually,
No.
1 second. Well, I can make it bigger for the ladies. What the heck? There we go. Okay.
Xenophobia.
A dislike or a prejudice against people from other countries. So I don't think that actually really would apply. I don't know.
I don't think so either. Okay, that I may have mixed it up with another word, but I don't know what it would be.
Probably a bigot.
A bigot can definitely cover a bunch of bases.
Yeah. All right, we're going to proceed.
Has been named the Anti-Semite of the Year by the watchdog group Stop Antisemitism. They say that she, quote, blew the competition away with more votes than anyone in previous years. Right there, amazing. It's like so much is going on. If you really got to paint a picture of yourself of who is terrifying the Jewish community, like who is the second coming of Adolf Hitler. It used to be Donald Trump. They're over that. Now he's in the cover of Time magazine. But also Adolf Hitler was once upon a time in the cover of Time magazine. Anyways, the point is now they've realized the field has been cleared by me, Candace Owens, okay? This is the quote that Leora Ruz gave. It is exceptional. She said, Candace Owens's witch's brew of anti-Semitism drew from vile medieval blood libels, including claims that Jews drink Christian blood, conspiracies that Jews are pedophiles who control the media and are taking over America, and modern toxic anti-Israel hysteria.
So
no psychotic rabbit hole too extreme for this poisonous hater.
So this is what they're talking. This is how they're describing Candace Owens, a mother, a married woman, a Christian lady, or i.e. Catholic, I believe. This is how they are speaking about someone that had the audacity to utter the words, Jesus is king. What are your thoughts? What's up, Rami?
Well, I wanted to say something about.
So I want to dig into if that was all that it was. One, she worked for an organization wholly owned by an Orthodox Jew. I am more of a Reform Jew. hyperbolic garbage. Yep. The epitome of hyperbole. So anyway, they could fire for anything they wanted, right? And saying that in regards to your boss would be a terrible thing. So now I don't agree with some of the people they had on here. They had Greta Thunberg on there just because she posted a lot of a lot of pro-Palestine stuff. And just to be clear, I am a two-state solution Jew. I believe there should be two independent states. Or I'm not saying she's a great person or anything, Wingspan. I'm just saying yeah, it's fine. I'm sure that her handlers did it for sure. But yeah, anyway, two-state solution or a way for full citizenship rights. But I will never be a complete follower of the pro-Palestine movement because of what they've done over the past 70 years as far as terrorist attacks. Yeah, and like Lebanese, there's a whole sect of Christians in Lebanon. So in a lot of the anger towards Christians in Israel is because of the Christian missionaries. And anyway, I won't get into that. Yeah, Danny, I think so. And they use her autism as both sword and shield, right? They use it so she can attack, and then if anybody dares question, then they immediately attack them, saying that she how dare you pick on an autistic girl. It's just like Todd with his veteran status, disabled veteran status.
About what was said here. Oh, okay. Did she ever say any of that stuff?
Yes.
Not that I'm aware of.
You know, especially the claims that Jews drink Christian blood. I mean,
she's always quoted.
That's very interesting that they would
from the protocols of the elders of Zion, and we'll get into that when we start going over receipts.
Say all that stuff, like she said that, kind of like somebody else we know, not producing the receipts, but sure as heck saying it.
Yeah, I mean, at the risk of making this about our community being accused of saying and doing all kinds of crazy things that we've not said or done, at the risk of pointing out the parallels, that's what all I want to do. I want to keep this about Candace, but I think my co-host Rats does make a very salient point there, a very important point, that this is a playbook. They have a playbook.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And yeah, you're right. Any thoughts before we proceed?
Well, I mean, who does own the majority of the TV stations?
Here we go.
Uh-oh, you're gonna get canceled.
Oh, I better be careful.
Mhm.
Just
No psychotic rabbit hole too extreme for this poisonous hater. And I just wonder, like, when people give quotations like that, and then when publications decide to publish quotations like that, are they really in that much of a vacuum? Is it just like a feedback loop amongst people that are like Likud party journalists, where they don't realize how completely warped and deranged they sound to even put these things on paper? Like, no one believes this. Obviously, nobody believes this. And look no further than the New York Post comment section. It was exceptional, just completely being ratioed everywhere. You got to go on Instagram. I'm going to read you a few of these comments, but people were just reaching out. We were getting donations. They were angry at the New York Post for this, making a mockery of it. Even Grok, which is a...
So I'm going to pause it here.
Yeah, Jenny with an eye.
Let's have a little bit of a discussion, because the interesting thing is, like I keep saying this about the Lord of.
While he's paused, I need to do something. It's going to take a couple of minutes. So if you want to grab a drink, take a restroom break, or whatever, I'll leave the mic on while I do what I need to do, and then we'll get back to it. Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechan l'knayir Hanukkah, Baruch atah Adonai Elohanu melech haolam she'asa nesim Lavote no Bayamin Hachem Bisman Hazeh Baruch atah Adonai Elohanu Manu Vekimanu Vehigyu Yanu Disman Haze. Sorry to subject y'all to my horrible prayers in Hebrew. But okay, y'all want to see my menorah? It is there. Yes, it's on ammo cans. Yes, first candle tonight. Chog Semite. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Y'all ready to hear more of Todd's intellectual conversations? Oh, and so my daughters also, they're hard to see. I'll take pictures of it when we're done, but my daughters got me LGBTQ candles for this year. I used to do them in English, but I'm trying to relearn Hebrew, so I'm doing that. So, okay. Hey, at least you went, right? Jenny with an eye. It gives you it gives you unique exposure to different cultures and religions. So I went to shul, and then fundamentalist Baptist on Sunday. So that was it is Spider Dog. Definitely more fun to do it in Hebrew. The whole relearning to read right to left is my problem. My hey Wyatt, how are you doing, buddy? Yeah, I hope you had a decent Christmas. I know you've been struggling, bud. but we're here to help you if you need it. All right. That is the best way to do it, Wyatt, is keep managing. Thank you, Linda. If you ever get to where you don't want to manage anymore, definitely make these calls to any of the things in the cryon. I think that's how you say it. Somebody help. Y'all know I'm bad with the wordy words sometimes. Well, I'll do them every night about this time, and I'll put I could put my camera up on we're about an hour and 3 minutes, but I'm only 22 minutes into his 2-hour stream, so because I can't stop pausing stuff. So yeah, it'll always be when the sun goes down here is when I'll do it. So maybe not tomorrow night. I think the synagogue is having a second candle lighting in the square tomorrow night.
Lord of the Rings quote, right? They dug the dwarves, they dug too long, they dug too deep, and they awoke the Balrog, right? That's kind of like this guy right here. This is that's Rabbi Shmuley, and she absolutely dog walked this
I
Muppet.
don't like Shmuley.
And we'll talk about that at some other point. And I've already actually brought this up. I've already actually shown this on the show before. Thank you, Dove. By the way, we do have a goal. Have a very reasonable goal. If you'd like to bless the channel, if you'd like to contribute in this holiday season, we'd like 10 donations of at least $2 to achieve the goal. And it's your way of maybe giving back to the channel or making it worth our time. By the way, this will help. Any monies that we receive tonight will go to my co-host getting some earbuds. And I don't think I'm going to give her earbuds. I think I'm going to buy her a Shocks. It's very nice. I got one for my wife and myself. They're around $70 or so. I get them tax free at the PX. I don't know if the price went up or not, but they're bone induction. You get sound through your bones. So they don't go in your ears because a lot of people have different like ear styles, and my wife can't really use a lot of the because her earlobe or inner ears are really small, so usually it's painful. So these just set on your bone and you can hear through your bone. And we'll try to get my co-host a nice lovely situation like that. We'll see if we can.
He hears everything.
Yes, and it's unfortunate because when I talk and she's talking, it's rude of me, but it creates like a scratch back feedback in my ears. So you guys can be a little bit part of that. The next couple shows, we're going to raise money to get rats to the moon. A trip to
Exactly,
Hawaii, so
Spider
she can
Dog.
cover the eruption of Mount of Kilimanjaro, and she'll be singing the song Toto. I catch the rains down in Africa the whole time she's there. So yeah, Hawaii trip is very expensive. We're joking about the Hawaii trip.
But I'd be in Hawaii, but singing about the rains in Africa. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, that's a good question. Blood asks, when am I going to get that PO box? I really probably should set up a PO box. Yeah, to give people an opportunity, especially if I'm going to have stuff behind me in the set that people can. I'm going to rotate things in and out, so if people want to send gifts to the set and contribute to part of the setting, they'll be able to do that. All right, let's get back to the show. What was I just saying to you? I was saying that what were we just? I was going to ask you something, and now I forgot. What was it?
I don't know. You were talking about how she dog walked Shmuel.
Yeah, they moved it to
Yeah,
Hawaii,
so
Shimon.
hold on. She was talking about. Hold on. Let me go back. Let's hear this real quick. I'm gonna go back a little bit. It's gonna jog my memory.
How completely warped and deranged they sound to even put these things on paper. Like no
Oh, yes. They dug too deep. They dug too long. That's probably not a very flattering.
one believes.
There you go. That's better. There you go, Candace. With respect. They dug too deep. They dug too long. They awoke in the Balrog. Now, I've said quite a few times that there's 109 different territories that the ADL itself, or I'm sorry, a pro-Israel website has put out that the Jews have been kicked out of 109 different territories. And I've often said that because of the machinations of the synagogue of Satan, not the Jews, but the synagogue of Satan, the so-called Jews, the ones that call themselves Jews in name only, but their heart is far from.
I love how he tries to split those hairs. Right, Spider Dog. But yeah, him trying to split the hairs is, I hate the synagogue of Satan, but he will also say that the Jews have been so corrupt that the Christians were grafted into the tree of the Jewish people. So, which is it, Todd? Which is it?
The practices of Judaism. Because of their machinations, they keep getting kicked out of territories, and their games are running out here in America. Their games are starting to run out all throughout the West. That's why a majority of the NGOs that we're seeing are force feeding immigrants, illegal aliens down our throats all throughout the West because they're afraid of the West. Because we see what's going on. Netanyahu is now being put in, like, tried into the war as war crimes, and all of a sudden this Luigi guy comes out of nowhere to distract everyone to go look at this other thing over here. Don't pay attention to the fact that Netanyahu's going to be tried for international war crimes.
The Italian guy is a agent of Netanyahu. It's all not nudge, nudge, wink, wink with him. Absolutely, Spider Dog. Sorry, I was just reading Danny's comment about the tribal and Bureau of Indian Affairs. You're absolutely right, Danny. It's sad that, well, it's absolutely awful what they do to the natives. So what? Oh, and Netanyahu absolutely should be tried for war crimes. I am not, and nor have I ever been a fan after he got convicted the first time for crimes in Israel. He should have never been allowed to run for prime minister. So Yeah, he's absolutely disgusting. This is what it sounds like when somebody with nothing more than a high school diploma tries to convince everyone they are educated in world affairs. You are absolutely correct, sir. But didn't you know that he majored in English in college? That's why he Englishes so well. And by the way, Jimbo, always love you, bud.
They're not allowed to pay attention to that. But they dug too deep, they dug too long, they went too far, and now they're going to have to pay the maker because they've lost their power. When everything is racist, nothing is racist. When everything is anti-Semitic, nothing is anti-Semitic. When everything is hate and bigotry, nothing is hate and bigotry. They just throw these labels around on people to try to destroy their reputations, try to silence them, to try to shut them up. And Candace Owens is standing in her square, 10 toes down, using her chest voice, saying, "I'm not afraid of you." And good on her. And she should be supported. She should be praised because if they cancel all these people and all these platforms, then it's only a matter of time before they can shut down the little people. What are your thoughts, Rats?
Absolutely. That's like some of the trolls that we get in here. I think that's what they want to do, is to shut down the channel. And it's like, if you think you've got that much power to do so, you need to be afraid of how this world is going to go if you keep doing stuff like that.
Nobody wants to shut you down, Todd, because you are a source of endless entertainment. Says the guy who faces zero racism or bigotry or prejudice. Exactly, Spider Dog. And doesn't understand the anger and sadness when you do face it. And not so we are 15.8 million people in the world population. Tiny ethnic group. Dispersed all over the world. There are 7 million in Israel, 6.5 or something in the US, and then the rest are interspersed throughout the world. So tiny and very spread out. And only 60% of us are religious Jews. So he really does not know what he's talking about. Right, Toker? There's more people than that in Australia. I love the Muppets. I feel like I'm one of the old guys sitting up in the balcony, being a curmudgeon. Yes, Todd is extremely oppressed. He is his own oppressed group.
That is controlling information, and you really don't want that. You want to have a flow of free thought, even if you don't
Boston.
like it,
Kelly, I didn't say hello. Sorry.
because it gives people a chance to ponder about a different view. Now, I've said it before that things that people say has changed my mind. And on one particular subject, my mind was changed twice. And it was about the abortion subject. And I changed my mind from being absolutely against it to going, oh, you're right, the government ought not to have any interference. And then back to, I'm sorry, I just can't endorse a party that believes it's okay. So, and that's from listening to other people. So people's minds can be changed because of a different thought, and you should not be afraid of that.
I don't know, women reading books. Next thing you know, they're having ideas and thinking. It's dangerous, but I'll allow it because you're my co-host.
You'll live.
I'll live. We'll survive.
This obviously nobody believes this, and look no further than the New York Post comment section. It was exceptional, just completely being ratioed everywhere. You got to go on Instagram. I'm going to read you a few of these comments, but people were just reaching out. We were getting donations. They were angry at the New York Post for this, making a mockery of it. Even Grok, which is X's AI program, were like, yeah, Kansas has been named anti-Semite of the year, but there has been some mixed reactions. So I'm going to read some of these mixed reactions on Instagram. This user wrote, "This is how you try and destroy someone through insidious rumors, and then later God finds a way to vindicate the flock of pariahs." Honestly, I'm not a fan of hers, but come on. This next
So this is a perfect Exodus 14:14. You have to do nothing but remain silent. I will fight your battles for you. Or where they talk about speaking a proverb against evil, that no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Careful, Todd. You're reading from my portion of the Bible that you don't agree with unless it agrees with you.
Right? That if you have the whole armor of God on, you can withstand the attacks of Legion, the demonic oppression that they're trying to put upon her. You know, the devil wants to kill, steal, and destroy, wants to isolate people. And look at the joy on this woman's face as she joyfully, boldly, and with a joyous heart deals blow after blow after blow to these absolute horrible human beings.
next person writes, "She was hoping to get it. Ha ha ha. Candace is a truth teller. Hashtag Christ is King." This person writes, "Wow." And she had some serious competition. I did. This person writes, "Israel rating American citizens by how well behaved they are. The nerve of these people." This person says, "The truth doesn't make you anti anything."
One, she is Ukrainian living in England. So no, she is not Israel. She's not the state of Israel. She is Israeli. But I digress.
She's a hero. Only genocide supporters would call her an anti-Semite. The truth will get you canceled. Candace is great. Israel should be marked as anti-Christian of the year after what they did in Syria. So it's not going well, I would say, for like the pro-Israel lobby. People are not falling for this sort of a thing, but it's interesting to see that they have not stopped the onslaught of slander and libel this entire year, when any person just wants them to practically debate why it is that America should be married to the foreign policy aims of Bibi Netanyahu and the Likud party. It makes entirely no sense. It's interesting if you just actually reflect and think about this, though. Years ago, and by years ago, I would say if I could pinpoint it, at the 8 years ago, it really mattered if someone called you a white supremacist. Like the idea of being called a white supremacist or being called a racist, it was so shocking and jarring to someone. You would do anything to correct the record. And in that, it gave people so much power to
Yeah, no, I agree. What Ivy is saying right there. So it's interesting when they say when they use the term anti-Semite, Ivy. It's very ignorant because I mean, technically, my bloodline comes from that geographical location where Aramaic. Well, I know ancient Hebrew is spoken. I think there's one other language that was spoken. And actually, a Semite, what they would consider the Semite or the region where Semites were, was a very, very wide area, right? And it's one of those situations where why is it only
Yeah,
about
Boston, I do
certain
remember.
people? Like, why would they exclude Arabs?
Would that
Right?
be racist?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think it's to just automatically say that only Jews are considered to be Semitics, and anyone that's saying anything is anti-Semitic. I'm not against 3 or 4 different languages spoken in a very big geographic location, right? So it's it's interesting. Well, first off, there are some rules in here, Ivy. If you're going to continue to shout, you're going to get ping-ponged. I'm just letting you know. Because my mods will handle internet tough guys, and the way we handle internet tough guys is like this.
I'm built different. I'm never 11. Yeah. Oh shit.
So, in case you want to get ping ponged the fuck out of my chat, you're gonna act like you got some fucking.
Yeah, getting that upset over some all caps is absolutely amazing. So let me switch this up. Good to see my big mug and my Jew eyes. Did you send him a 556 super chat, Danny? Oh, Toker, does he have a live going on? Got the eye of the Jew. Yeah. Do you have blue eyes? To quote from our other channel. All right. Anti-Semitism history. That's where I'm going to bore some of y'all to death. Oh, really? I don't care. So this is from history.com. So, it's not a beer fest. No, he's not a good faith conversationalist, Spider Dog. That's why I get so pissed off when I talk to him. Kittle, my girls are all over the place. My ex has almost black eyes, and so my oldest has bluer eyes than me. My middle has dark brown, and my youngest has hazel. So, anti-Semitism history. So, from history.com, Todd. So, hopefully this doesn't trigger you. So, between 1939 and 1945, the Nazis killed about 6 million Jews and millions of other civilians throughout Europe. These are some of those who were slaughtered in the Holocaust. This is a transcript, by the way, so I may not have edited all of it out. So it was a picture of Holocaust survivors. So European anti-Semitism from its origins to the Holocaust. So Jews are the Hebrew people of the Bible who lived in a land now known as Israel. Remember, in the Bible, Abraham migrated from Ur of the Chaldees, so he is actually from the Iraq-Iran area on the coast. And then you get him hanging out in Egypt for a while, and Toker, we do have a whole lot of Nobel prizes. Just saying. So they believe that there is only one God. So the beginnings of monotheism can be debated between Christianity and Zoroastrianism. So Christianity emerged from Judaism. Jesus of Nazareth, who was a Jew who preached a singular religious message. The first Christians were Jews who prayed in Hebrew and observed the customs and rituals of Judaism. The Last Supper was a Jewish religious meal, probably at Passover. Right, Jimbo? Jesus was put to death at the hands of the Roman authorities under Pontius Pilate in Judea. But the gospel accounts were interpreted as blaming all Jews for the crucifixion. To his followers, Jesus was the Christ, the Messiah. His death, sacrificial atonement. Most Jews believed the Messiah had not yet come and redemption was not at hand. What's up, Rican? Soon after the crucifixion, Roman armies destroyed the temple in Jerusalem. Jews were exiled and scattered to live as a dispersed minority. By the 5th century, Christianity had become the dominant religion in the Roman Empire. The early Christian church, portraying Jews as unwilling to accept the word of God, illuminations showed Satan binding the eyes of the Jews. Some church leaders intensified the charge, condemning the Jews as agents of the devil and murderers of God. The accusation was not renounced until the 1960s, when the Second Vatican Council officially repudiated the ancient charge that Jews had murdered Christ. For centuries, state and church laws restricted Jews, preventing them from owning land and holding public office. Guilds excluded Jews from most occupations, forcing them into pursuits like money lending, trade, commerce. Excluded from Christian society, Jews maintained their religious and social customs. In 1095, Pope Urban II called for the liberation of Jerusalem. Christian crusaders set off to free the Holy Land from the Muslims. On the way, they slaughtered thousands of Jews. What this fails to mention is that they went to France and killed all the Jews in France. And then when they got to Israel in Jerusalem, they slaughtered all of the Jews as well as the Muslims. So, again, you have the church rescuing the Jews by murdering the Jews. Yes, I do, Toker. Church laws meaning Catholicism. Throughout the Middle Ages, Christians persecuted Jews. Portrayed as alien, Jews were regarded as usurers, so people who lended money for interest, since they were forced to enter that profession. It was said that Jews poisoned the wells of Europe, causing the Black Plague. Illustrations depicted Jews as the devil with horns and cloven feet, and showed them using the blood of Christian children in ritual sacrifices. These lies came to be taken as truth. But they were needed. Jews were tolerated. When they were allowed to participate in the larger society, Jews thrived. In many places, secular and religious states forced Jews into segregated districts, later called ghettos. England, France, Spain, Portugal, and many German states expelled masses of Jews, some of whom migrated eastwards, taking with them their religious convictions and traditions. That's why you'll find Jews as far east as China. In 1517, Martin Luther attacked the Pope and corruption within his own Roman Catholic Church, beginning the Protestant Reformation. The young Luther hoped that tolerance would persuade Jews to convert. But when Jews adhered to their own religious beliefs and refused to join his new Reformed church, Luther's disappointment turned to hatred. What then shall we Christians do with this rejected and condemned people, the Jews? Their synagogues should be set on fire, and what does not burn must be covered with earth, so that no man will ever see stone or cinder of them again. Their houses should be razed and destroyed. All their prayer books should be taken from them. The Protestant Reformation brought no end to the anti-Jewish tradition of Christianity. With the 18th century, Enlightenment's emphasis on reason, the domination of the church diminished. Some Enlightenment thinkers called for full rights for Jews, but only on the condition that they discard their religious customs. Others blamed Judaism as the source of irrational religious faith. Even though many Jews assimilated socially and culturally, prejudice did not disappear. In France in 1894, Captain Alfred Dreyfus, you can still hear about the Dreyfus affair nowadays when it comes to political intrigue and militaristic spying. Which is sad for when we get to the end of this. Was convicted of passing military secrets to Germany. Later, proof of forgery confirmed his innocence. But Dreyfus remained the victim of a cover-up to divert attention from army corruption. Century after French Revolution proclaimed liberty, equality, and fraternity, giving Jews their freedom, frenzied mobs in the streets of Paris chanted "Death to the Jews." It is not a question of religion. The enemy is Judaism. Religious discrimination had gradually changed into a thriving secular, political, and social anti-Semitism. Nevertheless, freed from the restrictions, many Jews entered the Christian world and became prominent citizens. Then, around 1900, a new lie was promoted that Jews conspired to dominate the world using their money and intelligence to manipulate trusting Christians. Sound familiar? Sound like somebody we know? Russian secret police forged a document to support the story of a takeover plot, supposedly authored by a conference of Jewish leaders. A proven forgery, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, was nevertheless translated into every major language and distributed worldwide. It is circulated even today, despite indisputable proof that it is a fake. To divert popular discontent at appalling living conditions and autocratic control, Russian authorities encountered anti-Semitic violence. Jews were blamed for the assassination of Tsar Alexander II in 1881. Pogroms, murderous rampages against the Jews erupted in Russia many times during the next 3 decades. The second half of the 19th century saw the emergence of yet another kind of anti-Semitism. At its core was the theory that Jews were not merely a religious group, but a separate race, Semites, set apart because of genetically inherited characteristics. Anti-Semites believed racial characteristics could not overcome this by assimilation or even conversion. Jews said to be dangerous and threatening because of their Jewish blood. Anti-Semitic racism united the pseudo-scientific theories with centuries-old anti-Jewish stereotypes. These ideas gained wide acceptance. The devastation of World War I, the demeaning peace of Versailles, the hyperinflation of the 1920s, and the Depression of 1929 fueled mass discontent. The presence of Jews in German control economic and political life made them convenient scapegoats for Germany's misfortunes. Enter Adolf Hitler. Hitler viewed the world as a racial struggle for survival of the fittest. He saw Jews as the source of all. Oh, Spider Dog, I will. I thought I was well studied on these issues, but that I have not heard of. So Hitler viewed world history as a racial struggle for survival of the fittest. He saw Jews as the source of all evil, disease, social injustice, cultural decline, capitalism, and all forms of Marxism, especially communism. Anti-Semitism would become the predominant ideology of the Third Reich. Nazi racism victimized many groups of people, but it was against the Jews that the Nazi state mobilized all its resources for terror. After the Nazi takeover of power, anti-Jewish measures were put into effect one after another. Jewish businesses were boycotted, then seized. Jews were defined, separated from non-Jews. Jews were excluded from professions and studies. Jewish children were barred from schools. Jews were subjected to public humiliation. The changes, whether gradual or sudden, were incomprehensible. Few could imagine what would happen, even Jews. The Nazis took anti-Semitism to an unprecedented level of violence. Genocide, the systematic murder of people deemed inferior. 6 million Jews. In the aftermath of the Holocaust, some Christian churches, including the Roman Catholic and Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, have re-examined their teachings on the Jews and Judaism. Japanese surmised that if the Jews were as powerful as the protocols said, then they should have Jewish settlements set up in Japan. It was called the Fugu Plan. I mean, that sounds like the typical fears that the protocols espouse, even today at even Todd levels, right? And they don't understand the power of, or maybe they do, the power of their rhetoric. So many denominations are continuing to address the role played by centuries of Christian anti-Semitism in contributing to circumstances that made the Holocaust possible. Anti-Semitism did not end with the Holocaust and persists in Europe, the United States, and around the world today. Efforts to minimize, deny, or even celebrate the Holocaust are among the many ways anti-Semitism endures. Danny, I believe so. Hatred of Jews is fueled by myths, lies, conspiracy theories. Some advocates of religious, political, and racial ideologies continue to exploit the hatred of the Jews to achieve their own ends. As the Holocaust demonstrates, anti-Semitism often appears alongside other forms of hatred, with potentially devastating consequences for individual communities and nations. All right. That was history.com. That's called a receipt, Todd, not a dictionary.com definition of a Semite. You were going after something that sounded like you could be considered, somebody hating you could be considered anti-Semitic. It could be considered anti-asshole or and what does he say he is? Anti-Viking, anti-Irish, anti-Greek, anti-Italian, but not anti-Semitic. But let us continue. I can't remember where I got this. Hopefully it's at the end. Anti-Viking, yes. So after the sack of Rome by the Visigoths in 410, Augustine of Hippo composed The City of God, a philosophical treatise that would become a keystone of medieval Christian thought to inform European attitudes toward Jews and Judaism for the next 1,000 years. You're anti-Viking, Kelly? Especially one with the bendy horns? Yeah, I'd rather not them not do that either, Spider Dog. So Augustine's position toward Jews was ambivalent, crystallizing a duality of fear and fascination that runs through the Western Christian tradition. Augustine claimed Jews were the murderers of Jesus, for which they were forever doomed to exile and subordination. At the same time, he believed Jews should be protected from grievous harm, since wherever they lived, they carried the Old Testament, which testified to Jesus' fulfillment as the Messiah, and to Jewish blindness and rejection. This ensured Jewish survival, but at the cost of subjugation. Okay, Mrs. Metcalf, have a good dinner. We'll be here as long as people want to listen. I have some Jenny with an eye. And that bugs Todd to no end that I have more than one passport. Augustine is a good place to start in order to understand the roots of European anti-Semitism in early Christianity and medieval Christendom. For it was the writers of the New Testament, buttressed by the church fathers like Augustine, who developed coherent theology based on those writings and laid seeds seeds, not siege, for centuries of Judeophobia. Danny, good to know. Augustine and the other church fathers were influenced by earlier Greco Roman legacy that both scorned and praised Jews. Many ancient thinkers were impressed by the biblical tradition and touted Jews for upholding the cardinal virtues of wisdom, courage, and temperance, and justice. But Jewish difference aroused scorn. Some like the historian Tacitus, found monotheistic beliefs and rituals bizarre or uncivilized. The most serious accusation was that Jews were misanthropes, hating all but their own group. We've all heard that before too. But it was the expanding divide between the followers of Jesus and the Jews that fundamentally shaped the fate of anti-Jewish contempt, a conflict inscribed in the sacred texts of Christianity. The Gospels tell the story of Jesus of Nazareth, martyred as King of the Jews, whose original disciples were all Jewish, but who Jews rejected as the Messiah. 5 enduring images in the New Testament would profoundly shape perceptions of Jews in the Christian West. First was the depiction of Judas, a traitor willing to sell out God for 30 pieces of silver. Second was the portrait of Caiaphas and other Jewish leaders who were concerned only with their own power. Third was the claim that Jews were Christ killers, derived from the scene in the Passion narrative where the Jews call upon the Roman governor Pontius Pilate to crucify Jesus, assuming perpetual responsibility when they insist his blood be upon us and upon our children. Fourth was the association of Jews with Satan, which was reinforced in the Gospel of John when Jesus says to a group of Pharisees, "You are of your father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires." Lastly, it is the supersessionist claim, the doctrine that the new covenant through Jesus supersedes the covenant with the Jewish people, which crowned Jesus' followers as the new Israel, bestowing upon them that promises given by God to the Jews and projecting onto the forsaken Jews the curses of those accursed by the divine. Oh, I sure didn't, Jenny with an eye. I didn't. It makes me feel weird when I do that. As the theology, thank you for the catch, Jenny. As the theology of Christianity developed from the 2nd to the 6th century, All right, that must be it. Okay. These images would be amplified in sermons, repeated in liturgy, rehearsed in passion plays, imbibed through folk tales, and institutionalized as church law. Later, they would literally be carved into the stone and glass of cathedrals. Across Europe today, one can still find the image of the synagogue depicted as an old, downcast, blindfolded, and broken window opposed to the far-sighted, upright church, a condensed supersessionist narrative for the illiterate masses. Chat is weird too. Well, keeping it weird keeps it interesting. So, you know. From the 6th through the 11th centuries, church leaders sometimes railed against good relations with Jews. Oh no, did he? He must have bought a another jet, probably a $60 million G6 or something. And hey, Tom Donovan. Well, I mean, the spam song, If I Could Eat Spam, would be a wonderful thing. Smells so good. Let's see. Which suggests that such intimacy existed. Anti-Jewish legislation oscillated between protection and enforced subordination, and it varied with individual leaders who usually followed the law of utility, doing whatever was good for them. Most importantly, anti-Judaism was not economic and populist. Indeed, Jews were the only heretical group allowed to practice a separate creed, and social and economic relations were relatively amicable. It's not weird, Sherry Tilly? Come on, we need to be weird. A key turning point was Pope Urban II's call for a crusade, which we already read, right? To liberate Christian holy sites from Muslims in 1095. The March of the Crusades in the summer of 1096 marked the first mass slaughter and pillaging of Jewish infidels living in Christian territories, especially the Rhine Valley. This is where what I was talking about. Spam is pork flavored rock salt. Oh, man. Oh, that's cool, Sherry. So, whose Jewish communities were the most numerous in Europe? In accordance with the Augustinian doctrine, some counts and bishops sought to aid Jews when they were forced to yield before the zealous mob. Waves of new crusades over the next 200 years would follow with disastrous consequences. In their wake, new accusations against Jews emerged, most notably the blood libel in the accusations that Jews ritually murdered Christian children to use their blood for baking Passover matzah. That would be some weird matzah, if you ask me. I'm just saying. New directives also followed the mandate for a distinctive sign to be worn by Jews and Muslims to distinguish them from Christians. And the public condemnation of the Talmud in a series of mandated public disputations beginning in Paris in 1240, the First Lateran Council in 1215 denounced Jews as usurers for lending money at interest, updating the archetype of Judas and alleging that Jews were avaricious and cheated Christians wherever they could. This stereotype was most famously dramatized by Shylock in Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. And that's what we see here. This is the Shylock in the Merchant of Venice. By James Litton. Oops. Spinelli, I will not engage in that debate. I made clear earlier in here my feelings on the Palestinian situation. So, this is about anti-Semitism toward the Jews. Anti-Semitism is not related to Muslims. That is called Islamophobia. So get your facts straight before you come in here spouting off. Systematic persecution of Jews worsened in the 14th century, which was cataclysmic for all Europeans. The Great Famine of 1415 to 1317 was followed by the bubonic plague, which killed more than 1/3 of all Europeans. Associations of Jews with witchery, dark sorcery, and the Antichrist fed rumors that the Black Death was the result of a plot by Jews to destroy Christendom, carried out by poisoning wells and springs. This was the origin of conspiracy theories that charged Jews with acting as a cabal to destroy the Christian world. Looting and carnage in hundreds of Jewish communities resulted, often followed by expulsions. But it's the Jews' fault for their expulsions, right? From the 109 countries. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Chino Nino. Great to see you, bud. Thank you, Spider Dog. Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's see. the most consequential of these would take place in Spain, where Jews had thrived for centuries, excelling in both intellectual and commercial pursuits, and even serving as counselors and physicians to the kings of Castile and Aragon. Following a brutal civil war from 1355 to 1366, a set of charismatic preachers fomented anti-Jewish violence, forcibly converting tens of thousands and massacring those who refused. Following conversion, all barriers to social access were removed. In 1449, to reset limits on those with with Jewish origins who were then integrating into all sectors of Spanish society, blood purity laws were passed barring the entry of new Christians to public office and certain guilds, military and religious orders, as well as some towns. Still, some converts practiced Jewish rites in secret. To root out heresy, the Inquisition was formally established in 1478. Those suspected of being crypto-Jews or Marinos were tortured or brought to public trials and sometimes burned at the stake in festivals known as auto de fe, or act of faith. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, but what is worse? Well, man, how can you determine which is worse? I would say him landing in the Americas was worse by the number of natives that have been killed. But anyway, the remaining 160,000 Jews were expelled from Spain. The discovery and conquest of the New World by Columbus that year, paid for in part by the confiscated millions taken from banished Jews, was the dawn of the modern world. As the transatlantic slave trade system developed in the Americas, the concept of races, previously applied only to describe animal breeding and blue-blooded nobility, merged with ideas of indelible blood purity from the Inquisition and were used to differentiate and hierarchize group character. Systems of racial classification were fully birthed during the 18th century Enlightenment as Europeans sought to describe, classify, order, and label the world. Racial systems legitimated slavery and colonial domination as natural at precisely the moment when Europeans were rethinking their own social order. Simultaneously, Enlightenment values of scientific reason, constitutional government, and tolerance warranted emancipating Jews from medieval structures. However, like Augustinian ambivalence of old, Enlightenment ideas were also responsible for codifying new racial hierarchies that secularized the dichotomies of Christendom, especially when they were mixed with peons to the people. Gotta find my place. Sorry. Now some of y'all probably yelling at me like, okay, found it. As the masses became involved in Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, bitches. What's up, Hill Pirate Studios and them? He's not trying to sexualize you, freedom fighter. So let's see. Enlightenment values like we invented porn so we could catch Todd in the act of chicken porn. So because it's all about him. It's all about catching Todd in acts of bestiality with his livestock. Okay. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. Hey, OO. Enlightenment values like life, liberty, equality, and fraternity were the backdrop to the revolution in France, where Jews were first given equal rights. Yet, as industrialization propelled Europe to global hegemony. Sorry. In the 19th century, racism became the central axis of European identity. European nations and peoples defined themselves externally against colonized others and against Jews internally. Hey, Scott Amo. Killer mustache. So this is Captain Dreyfus from the Dreyfus Affair. Rebecca, yes. Even the simplest of words will stop my brain from working. It short circuit something. I have no idea. So by the late 19th century, every nation, culture, and race had become interchangeable terms. Jews and Judaism were also habitually depicted as the opposite of the highest values of the nation. A racialized, politicized, and pragmatic anti-Semitism emerged as a force in Western and Central Europe. Yeah, they are too. Based on the Aryan myth, which depicted Semites as a subversive group bent on ascendancy. Remember when we talked about on the History Channel that um, they were attributing the word Semite with Israelis and Jews alike. So this is why when you do have the Shimon, I'm telling you, we as a Jewish people, all the 15 million of us have decided to move it from Africa to Hawaii. I guess Todd's intelligence agents intercepted a communique or something. So, which depicted Semites as a subversive group bent on ascendancy. Exemplifying these trends, the Dreyfus Affair, 1894 to 1906, ripped France apart over whether Captain Alfred Dreyfus, the only Jewish member of the military's general staff, was a traitor. Selling military secrets to the Germans, which would be super ironic, right? Or whether he was framed, as was proven in the case. For those left behind by the age of revolutions, like Jews like Dreyfus, who had risen to such lofty heights, represented in Richard Wagner's phrase, the plastic demon of modernity, the embodiment of all that was threatening in this brave new world. The protocols of the elders of Zion, a forgery by the Russian secret police during the Dreyfus Affair, and purporting to capture the plan for Jewish world domination, would become the blueprint for modern conspiracy theorists. After the massive dislocation and death in World War I and the Russian Revolution, it went viral. Would have liked to have seen what 1917 virality looked like. Jeff, I hope you and the wife and kids had a great Christmas. I know we did. Yes, I celebrate Christmas with my kids because their mother celebrates Christmas. Yes, I married a shiksa. Across post-war Europe, Jews were identified with those aspects of cultural degeneration and national corruption that fascists promised to eliminate. This would reach its crescendo in the Holocaust, where the horrors of total war transformed calls for racial hygiene into a distinctive siren song to cleanse and restore Germany and ultimately to all of Europe by finally eliminating the Jew. Okay. Let's do this. A little bit of this. A little bit of that. Let's get a palette cleanser in here. Todd plays the elf on the shelf. Needs to lose weight. The elf that'll break the shelf. Now you have Christopher Walken in your head. Oh, because of the dance. I totally forgot about. Yeah, their sound don't come on until a minute or two. Again, as these high speed chases through these residential areas scares me to death. I mean, it literally makes me tense up watching the insanity of the speed.
Show me your hands. Show me your fucking hands. Wrong fucking one. Don't you move. Stay right here. No, you stay right here. Oh.
Yeah, that's why I was running. I didn't want to get on the ground.
Hey, we let Tahoe run you down. Manchester, we got on stock 95 on Kingsbury.
Okay, right here.
Fuck to mine. I'm getting
Can I call?
turn around. I don't have anything to say to you.
Why are you being so rude to me? Yeah, Toker, especially in Georgia, if you have a Dodge Challenger or Charger, especially a Hellcat, you run a 60% chance of it getting stole. Especially, it's right up around 80% in Atlanta. Good grief, she's about to fall out of that skirt, ain't she, Toker?
I'm not being stupid.
Hey, now, what did I just say?
I didn't want to go to jail. That's what I'm afraid of. Stupid stuff.
Before you get 39 radio, everybody's getting 4
Oh, she hurting my hands.
Quit moving. I'm holding them.
I don't have any.
Some change over on the sub. That's it. Let's go ahead and see.
Okay.
You check it.
Can I call my mom?
Nah.
Why not?
I said no.
Okay.
Have to.
All right, let's get back to this. Yeah, they do Jimbo. Jicky, how are you? Yeah, Jeff, that's the way to. You have to do it with them. Also, I wouldn't have a Hellcat anyway. I'd have a TRX. No, it'd help if I shared the screen.
Fucking home training. Otherwise, you're just going to get ping-ponged into oblivion. So choice is yours, buddy. The ball's in your court. Act like you got some fucking manners or get dealt with like you don't. All right. I hope I made myself crystal clear.
To just yield that, to wield it and to yield it whenever you wanted to. And then what happened was BLM came around and we started realizing, oh, wait, this is not actually about racism, or this is not about fighting white supremacy. This is actually about a group of people that want to amass power by making other people shut up because they can't actually debate their ideas. And so we learned that. That was kind of the lesson, the takeaway from BLM, and nobody took accusations of racism seriously from then on, for better or worse. I would think probably the pinnacle of that was like George Floyd stuff. But now we're doing.
What up, Lick? We got Rami in the house. I got a couple of people that hopped in. Just want to say hi to everyone. I don't want to keep stopping the show. But Freedom Fighter DAC, otherwise known as JJ Nuthugger.
Oh boy.
Is asking if JJ's in here. I don't know. I guess he's feeling lonely without. I don't know. Maybe you got to get you a nut bra, dude. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Doing the exact same thing again with anti-Semitism. And it's so weird because you have people that are supposed to be brilliant who should work through that. This isn't going to work socially. It's not landing. People are getting tired, getting fatigued. You can't just keep calling everyone Adolf Hitler. You're taking the sting out of Adolf Hitler. People are now making jokes about Adolf Hitler because you just refer to every person that you have a disagreement with as a spawn of Hitler. Someone did a poster of me. They called me Ava Braun.
Let me address saying that somebody is racist, and she said 8 years ago calling somebody a anti-Semite or racist had a sting to it. Well, you got to think about the number of racist, racially motivated crimes have occurred in the last 8 years. Marches in support of Nazi ideals. People running around with swastikas and stuff like that. Chicky, I agree. Once people realize how much they can grift off of a nonprofit, it sometimes turns the tide. I hate that. Some nonprofits that you think are good take somehow their expenses are 125% of what they take in. It's really weird. So Anyway, I wanted to address that. I mean, yeah, the words lose its power when you use it more, but if you have to use it more because these things are happening, then we're in trouble. So
it's just getting so ridiculous out there. And now we've moved into a world where nobody cares. Nobody cares, and people are starting to think it's funny, and they're competing to win these sorts of awards because it is a part of the woke Olympics. But I took this very seriously, primarily because I was quite shocked that it came down. A lot of people were in the field, as that person mentioned. Dan Bilzerian was named as a potential candidate to be Anti-Semite of the Year. He lost. I think Andrew and
Oh, look, that's exactly who I made the clip for too. And just like slut magic, I rang the bell and poof,
It's
the
my
internet,
boyfriend.
the internet tough guy appeared. He appeared. Oh, look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, he's so cute. He's so precious.
Sometimes people play you for a fool, and you got to show them that I ain't the bitch. I ain't the one. People only understand violence. If I punch you in your fucking shit, you understand violence. Play with me. The shrimp is good. It's crispy. Nice flavor to the bread.
Now you scared me.
Sorry. Yeah, let's have some more fun.
Tristan Tate had won a week or something. The two of them lost. Rashida Tlaib, she lost. And it came down to me and Greta Thunberg.
Why are you going after Izzy? I'm literally showing Candace Owens. Are you that much of a retarded Muppet? I mean, are you the typical person that would support sub 70 IQ Izzy?
Freedom. I know it's hard for you to keep up, honey, but the subject of the day is not Izzy.
Yeah, I mean, if it were about Izzy, I would play stuff like this.
A very close call. Could have gone either way. It was right on the line. Well, Ferguson's not too happy with it, I can tell you that much. He's beating him like a rented mule. And the ref's just tuning him out. Boy, where do you train to take a beating like that?
He said, when's that porch gonna get painted and that litter box? It's been 3 weeks! 3 weeks! And you think I could have married Don Hoffman? And would it hurt for you to say that you love me once in a while?
This has been a lolcow production.
Lolcow, baby. There you go. There's your little.
So it's weird that he didn't play the Blue Falcon, huh? So I mean, okay. So sorry. Nobody in here supports ethnic cleansing, Gen Dominion. I think you're in the wrong stream. May want to go see Todd and tell him about that. So about 8:15, Hill Pirate Studios is going to go on, so we'll keep going until probably 7:45, something like that, and I'll do a part 2 tomorrow and keep everything up just like I have it. So, if that sounds good to y'all, I'll do another 5 o'clock so everybody can participate. 5 seems like a good time for all the time zones we service. So
Your little dose of Izzy. I've never forgotten about Izzy. I'll never forget about Izzy until she goes back, and I help make kitchens great again. Maca, right? Make no. Let's see. Make kitchens great again. Maca, yeah. MKGA, baby. You seen the title? The title is "I won Anti-Semite of the Year at Real Candace Owen." Live stream, open panel, hashtag good. Are you retarded? I'm asking for a friend.
This is hard.
Yeah, really, poor Greta. I don't care. I know you guys are like, you don't like Greta. This girl literally has autism and has a stuffed octopus that quite literally.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught that or not, but it was between
sword and shield with the autism yet again. So
Candace Owens and Greta Thunberg. How dare you? It was between those two for
She's an
anti-Semite.
anti-Semite.
Yeah, because she has a little that she keeps a little octopus thing around her at all times, and they said that's a dog whistle, meaning that a certain group of people have their tentacles, their hands, their tentacles, in all over the globe.
I'm pretty sure it's the stand with Palestine stuff. I mean, no matter how you feel about it, certain people get upset about it. But y'all know how I feel, so.
For the globe.
Interesting.
A little sensitive, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Kanye West when Kanye West said that I can give you the receipts. The Jays are all over Hollywood, and the Jays are all into the media, and the Jays are all into this, and the Jays are all into banking, and the Jays are all into this, and all this other stuff. And like within a week, they had canceled Chase Bank had canceled his bank account. Now, last time I checked, usually people that have banks want rich people to store their nuts and seeds there, right?
Yep.
A little weird. Maybe it's because that fiat currency is not even real. Maybe that's why they don't care about whether or not they have a billionaire's business. And then he got canceled, basically, right? Then, when he criticized them and said that they had control, they immediately go and then proceed to cancel him with banking and Hollywood and contracts, all the things that he said, right? That they were in control of, they proceeded to try to harm him. So nothing says he was right like he was right. So
literally every toddler in the world has a stuffed octopus. And this group, Stop Antisemitism, put her in a post and it was the worst form of anti-Semitism they'd ever seen. Greta Thunberg, who carries this octopus because she has a disorder and this stuffed animal helps her, was an anti-Semite because apparently an octopus also is symbolic of Jews controlling the world. And I'm sure that's exactly what Greta Thunberg thought when she purchased it. But the reality is, of course, that Greta Thunberg, the reason they were really attacking her and libeling her and smearing her after saying she was a hero and after she was in the cover of Time magazine.
Yeah, but a broken clock can be right twice a day, or if it's on military time, I guess stuck there, it could be right once a day.
Man, these things change so fast culturally. She's on the cover. Now she's in the running to be Anti-Semite of the Year, was because she just spoke out on behalf.
Yeah, y'all are all defending her now, and I'm sure I know for a fact Todd was tearing her down when she said something about climate. Sweet Jimbo.
On behalf of Palestinians, people who don't believe that they should be ruthlessly murdered by the Likud party terrorists. And that was her crime. So it came down to me and it came down to her because I guess we had a human take on what was happening to the Palestinians. But I want to take this seriously by putting together an acceptance speech. I wasn't expecting this, or I would have gone shopping. I would have worn a dress. I would have invited my family members and my friends to this. So this is sort of impromptu, but I did put together a couple of people. But I do want to thank for this incredible feat. So I'll just get started here. I think first and foremost, I want to thank the people who guided me here, the teachers who got me here, the teachers being the rabbis who got me here. You know, this journey really began.
Pay attention. When people tell you who and what they are, you should really listen.
And for me, with Rabbi Barclay, who I invited on to an earlier show of mine, and asked him a pretty basic question, which took him a very long time to answer. And that question was, could you just provide us with a definition of anti-Semitism? And here is what.
Yeah, so when I actually asked G2 about that and stuff like that, or somebody else, I forget exactly who was doing some big battle about that. And when I actually brought up the definition of what a Semite is,
You gonna throw my
they got
words
real
in there?
upset. I mean, if we can't agree, right? If we can't agree on definitions, then what can we agree on? So it says right here, Semite. It says I don't know if my co-host can see this, but it says a member of any of the peoples who speak or spoke Semitic language, including in particular the Jews and Arabs. But it's actually even more in depth than that. It talks about Aramaic. Go ahead.
Do you need to share screen?
Is it not shared? Oh, it isn't. Dang it. Here we go. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, co-host. So right there. It's a member of a people who spoke, and like IB said, well, this includes Arabs, right? And he wasn't wrong. I just didn't like the fact that he was yelling at everyone. It was kind of rude. Rude. Anyway, so yeah, and
yes, a Semite is of those particular tongues, but anti-Semitism is not defined that way. So yeah, it's extremely ridiculous and juvenile that he tries to conflate the two. He won't define anti-Semitism because he knows that the definition is much larger than a dictionary can pull up. But y'all saw how long it took to define. Gonna do this the Todd way. Nice, Jimbo. Bum, 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 bum. Hell yeah. Oh no, I didn't bing it. It won't be right. Well, how do I zoom this? Again, Gen Dominion. You are in the wrong channel because I give plenty of criticism towards BB. I don't like BB. He should not have been allowed to run for prime minister. Just eating a lot of greasy food and prayer. If you go back to what, about 45, 50 minutes in, I did the prayers and lighting of the first candle. So let's see. How do I? Oh, yeah. Idiot. Antisemitism, Oxford Languages. Hostility to or prejudice against Jewish people. This is why Todd wants to only read the definition of what a Semite is. You eat a lot of the greasy foods because it celebrates the availability of oils. Oh, Jimbo! Wow. All right. See you over there, Hafe.
To that. I'm a receipts kind of guy, right? What is the definition? Can we agree?
He's a receipt kind of guy. Oh, thank you, Jicky. I'm happy to have you. So we agree that Todd is a receipts kind of guy, right?
we agree on the definition. If we can't agree on the definition, then we really can't have a functioning, productive conversation.
Why do you think I will not come on panel with you anywhere inside of the tubes? Talk to Brick just fine. Me and Brick can have civil disagreements even, and everything. Well, that's a weird statement.
And if you just want to keep moving goalposts and straw manning everyone's argument and using ad hominems and ad populums and all kinds of other logical fallacies, well, it's not gonna do us any good. So I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry. I don't understand why people are trying to rewrite history and rewrite definitions and rewrite the meanings of words.
Look up the actual word that you're talking about and look at the history of what you're talking about.
Do you agree with that definition, Rats?
Well, I've never really thought about it until tonight's show. And if that's what the dictionary says, then I so go with it.
Well, we got to be careful though, because we might have to go back in time in order to get
True,
more
Joey.
appropriate dictionary definitions,
That is
because
true.
it seems like somehow the English language has become a very fluid, moving, changing, ever-changing document or definitions.
I
As
understand the dictionary has become a little bit more woke, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
and history revisionists.
As
Had to say, don't.
as I look at a dictionary, I am going to criticize a dictionary because said dictionary, the word, just like the Old Testament, right? Or the Hebrew Bible, rather. I should say, forgive me. Is only convenient when it meets his argument.
Don't fall asleep. Could you
Okay, so-
provide for us a definition of anti-Semitism?
Absolutely. I really appreciate that because I think that is the break. If we're not speaking the same language, where can we go, right?
Mhm.
So there's a man, a blessed memory man named Lord Jonathan Sachs, who's the chief rabbi of England. He had a great line. He really defined anti-Semitism. That anti-Semitism is Jews have no right to exist collectively as Jews with the same rights as other human beings. It's kind of weird statements. So let's just track back.
Well, you just saw a dude called IV came in my chat all hot and heavy, screaming at the top of his lungs. Well, Semite includes Arabs. So, I mean, how selfish and how hubris filled. And, you know, to think that you're the only group that matters and you're the only group that can have that label. It's very insensitive. It's very pompous. It's very proud. It's very puffed up with the leaven of the Pharisees. It's kind of why
We didn't make the definition.
A prideful, stiff-necked people have been being ragdolled by God ever since the Old Testament into the New Testament. And at some point in time, all knees will bow and all tongues will confess that Jesus is Lord.
To understand the history of anti-Semitism. 2,000 years ago, Jews don't accept Jesus as Messiah.
So, you know, Bobby, like when a mommy and a daddy like each other, and then when a themin and when a gamete, when a thing impregnates in a thing, and then a boom, and then well, back when there was the big bang, and then blah blah. I mean, come on, dude, just answer the freaking question.
4 hours later.
In 1144, a young boy is killed, and the local priest says that's the.
So he fast forwards through all of the content and then claims the guy's not answered the question.
Because the Jews need to make their matzah with Christian blood.
So that's where it came from.
Remember the blood libel.
That dude said it. That guy said it. She didn't say it. That guy said it. But she got blamed for it. Does it remind you any of the Muppetry that goes on in my little tiny orbit with all the mischaracterizations, with all the horrible aspersions being cast my direction, that I'm a this and I'm a that, but yet with as much time as I spend online, they don't have a succinct video clip to prove what they're claiming.
Oh, really, Justin?
I mean, look, he's still going on.
Amen, Tom.
She asked a alleged subject matter expert, a learned man, a rabbi, which means teacher. She asked a teacher, and he's going back to like the origins of the world.
Weren't you just complaining about words? 8:35 for Hill Pirate Studios going live. So we can hang out for a few more minutes. Gotta get my watch time hours up. You guys have been awesome, by the way, on subscribing. I've gone from 8 members to 550 members. Or not members, but subscribers in the last 28 days. So it's all because of you guys. Now I got to get to now I've got to get to that 3,000 watch hours. Yeah, he was reading from Exodus earlier, and now he's complaining because the guy is going actually back to where blood libel started. Hell, I went back to 470, so, and then went back even further. Yeah, we need to. We can do that, Jeff. I'd be happy to do that. I mean, I am a shitty Hill Pirate Studios production. Oh, it's 573 now, Tom. Wow, it's 550 this morning. So you see Todd skipping a whole lot, and he's getting angry that the guy's going back in history and explaining why anti-Semitism is applying to the Jews.
One eternity later.
Because it's about.
Why are you so impatient about learning something?
Jews not having the right to exist collectively. When they live in their little communities in the Middle Ages, anti-Semitism is a hate against their religion. By the time you get to the 18th and 20th centuries, when so many Jews have.
Yeah, exactly, Dove. But he said it on her show, so that means she said it. Yeah, just like somebody could say something in the chat and sub 70 IQ Izzy will accuse me of saying those things. It's so weird.
Assimilated, they are in culture, they are in arts, they're in science. It's no longer against them for their religion, it's against them for their race. This anti-Semitism is the oldest hate in the world, and the hate that mutates.
And there it is.
Jeff, but that's why I'm like doing police chases for breaks in the seriousness of the channel. So I think some lowbrow every now and then is definitely a needed sometimes, because it gets kind of heavy over here at times. I think most of the chatters would agree. Thank you, Danny.
There it is. It's whatever they want it to be, whenever they want it to be.
No,
and
it's
you might
not.
be an anti-Semite today for having a stuffed octopus, and it dates back to the Middle Ages, and then it goes on to the 11th century and the 12th century. But it is accepted by the experts that anti-Semitism is malleable. So if you piss off somebody, they can just call you an anti-Semite, and you have to accept that if those accusations are coming from somebody who is Jewish. Also want to thank somebody who contributed, I think, to the world a lot. And of course, that would be Rabbi Shmuley, another teacher,
She would like Shmuley, right? Wait a minute. I thought she had a big falling out with him. Let's see what she says.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Wait. What do we got going on here? Oh, look who my backdrop is. Now, that's a guy who looks like when he chews food at the table, crumbs will fall out of his mouth. Fact.
We do know how to eat properly, Todd. I mean, some people, no matter what their religion, race, or anything, don't have any manners. It is just a matter of fact.
leader. He and his hag daughter, who
No, look. She says his hag daughter. Now, this is what I'm telling you. I find Jewish women to be insanely attractive, but I find Jewish men, by and large, to be absolutely hideous to behold, which explains to me.
I tell you what, you spend any time in Israel and dealing with Israeli women, they would absolutely destroy Todd. Like, you guys don't even know. I mean, I have had my ass handed to me on the jiu-jitsu mats with them so many times, doing a Krav Maga with them, gotten my ass beat. It's just how it is. They're trained to Jimbo, it is freaking insane. The military women that I worked with, the intel people, oh, buddy. But yeah, very, very, very hot. Wait, since you went to a lot of clubs, did you were you in Tel Aviv?
I mean, why they're so desperate to gain as much wealth as possible, because a lot of times, in order for you to have a trophy wife, you need to have some bucks, man. These women ain't laying with no losers. You know what I'm saying? Actually, they might marry you, and they might genetically reproduce with some jock down the street. But they'll definitely let you build a nest for them. I think the word for that is cuck. But yeah, I mean, I mean, most of these men, especially when they get
showing you know absolutely nothing about Jewish women.
Older, they're hideous. Hideous. Ryan Reynolds, by the way, hit me up. Slip into my DMs anytime, dude. I'm not gay, but Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. That's all I'm gonna say.
He is Ryan Reynolds.
we will not leave out here, for demonstrating to the world.
He called himself a nerd so he could. Who was it on panel with him? Kelly, was that Kelly Brown on panel with him? He wanted to make whoever was his guest host be attracted to him because she liked jocks and nerds. True Toker. And thank you. You saying the one I love put REM in my brain. And so now that's going to be there forever. Justin, I was up on one, and yeah, I used to stay at the Conrad right on the edge of the Med there. And you would go out onto the beach, and there was a little bar, and then on top is where you would there was a restaurant. It was amazing.
World, really, that our factory presets may have been wrong. If you guys were like me, I was kind
Oh God! Right? Oh no, Jesus! No, God, no! Stop! See, look, I fell right into it. Can you read that comment?
I mean, generally specific. If you found men attractive, I think your wife might have questions.
See, I didn't even see that comment until I made the Ryan Reynolds thing. I fell right into it. You predicted my affliction and my attraction to Ryan Reynolds, and $20. $20 is $20, and Ryan Reynolds.
That's not
is
what you
Ryan
said.
Reynolds. But I'm not gay. I'm just saying.
kind of wandering around, and I just never in a million years could have envisioned Jewish people doing anything wrong. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's too many cultural films about the
Listen,
Holocaust.
I would have never imagined in a million years Jewish people doing anything wrong. My wife will attest to the fact that Jewish people, by and large, other than the Holocaust and understanding that there were all these movies constantly being made, and let's never forget, look at, she's doing the same hand motion. She's like, never in my mind did I have, they weren't on my radar in any kind of a negative way. They were on my radar in a people that needed to be protected. Kind
Exactly,
of way, because of
General
all the
Sal.
Hollywood, because of all the movies. Every 2.5, 3 years is a new Hollywood or TV series about how let's never forget about the Holocaust, but nobody knows about the Holodomor. Do some research on the Holodomor.
I know all about the Holodomor,
Todd.
Todd. We can have competing
what she's saying.
streams.
I never would have in a million years have thought any of this. Same with you. I'm imagining rats, and I'm not speaking for you. You can speak for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a little bit older than you. I mean, I'm 80 after all. But
Yeah, Jimbo, it was intense. It was more intense on the West Bank when I was over there doing stuff, but yeah, Justin, you're right. And his repetition of the Holodomor is insane and a very anti-Semitic trope. Right, Danny? Todd is that rotten school bully 10-year-old that learned an insulting word, now can't stop saying it. Yeah, I mean, you can understand why, Jimbo. That is why I'm definitely for a two-state solution. I would prefer a path to citizenship, but I think that's kind of a recipe for disaster.
I can't crack jokes when I'm drinking coffee.
I've lived through where you reverence Israel. I mean, you just be really reverent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are God's people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only been in the past year or two that I've started to see things a little bit differently. That there is a separation between the synagogue of Satan and the Jewish people. It's two different groups.
Wonder how long you've been listening to Todd there, rat.
One is not good.
Yeah, I would agree. I concur.
Cost stuff that you learn in school, but I had never foreseen an individual quite like Rabbi Shmuley, who I think sort of shattered the narrative of Jewish people always being the victims. And he did this gloriously. I mean, the amount of her.
Okay, well, let's point out good old G2, who, because I
Oh,
said
boy.
the words 109 territories, soon to be 110, he took that as a direct death threat to him and his family.
Yes,
What?
I agree.
Yes, he took that as me making a direct death threat to him and his family.
You're going to have to explain that one.
He's going to have to explain that one.
I don't see
do
that.
you-
I can't go there.
That I was making a direct death threat to him and his family by
I
saying, pack your.
Do you know what the expulsions from other countries, Todd, was not a pack your bags and leave. It was murders and mass killings, and people escaped. No, I think that intensified things, Jimbo. I think that was a problem to be worked out. And it definitely intensified friction, and we lost some respect. And so they said, okay, we're just going to do things our way. And then they started planning attacks. Yeah, I think so, Jimbo. Yeah, Justin, I try to stay out of it, but this was too good to. And from 36 until what, 42, they allowed that in the states. If you look up the, what was it, 39? The 39 Madison Square Nazi gathering, I guess. It was insane.
Pack your suitcases is looking like 110. Oy vey. Shabbat shalom. I don't know. Which is it? Oy vey or Shabbat shalom?
Harassment that I endured by him really culminated. His finest point this year was when he and his daughter called the FBI on me because they received a pineapple pizza to their house that.
Okay, listen to this. They received a pineapple pizza to their house that they thought that it was Candace Owens escalating tensions with them. Okay. Now, don't we know somebody with the last name Ryder that seems to have a certain, I don't know, physiognomy that has proceeded to be a very strong proponent of pranking another person named Fraudit Wrangler, for instance, by sending him cheeseburgers with extra salt and no meat, and other weird assorted sundries, thinking because it was funny. And the angry Gact gave in.
I went to plenty of shows at the Omni when I was a kid, Joey. Concerts, wrestling events. It was real easy since Turner owned it, and there was always events going on.
Gave instructions for the delivery person to record it, which was, again, he's on probation for wiretapping and perhaps may have violated his probation and broken the law again by recording someone against their will in a two-party consent state.
The
So I don't
angry
know.
badge?
Yeah, the angry badge. I call him the angry gacked because he's always gacked out on some kind of drugs, allegedly.
So how did they stretch that this pizza came from her?
Well, let's listen.
They didn't order. And so the only logical conclusion would be like Candace is trying to kill me or whatever.
I mean, this is right up for public safety, official misconduct, the angry vag, Terry, good old Terry. But wait, there's more. I mean, this is right. Cliff Williams. This is these nutbags. I mean, because you had a pineapple pizza, which is a monstrosity. I will agree. Pineapple on a pizza. And I love pineapple.
I agree,
What?
Dove.
What's that?
I said I agree, Dove.
Oh, she didn't say anything about that. Oh, she didn't like pineapple on a pizza?
Oh, no, she likes it.
Oh, she does. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll eat the hell out of it. I mean, if I have to. But I mean, it's a logical conclusion, right? So logical. Yeah, of course it's the goy that did it. It's the person that we want to frame or paint as a bad person so that we could try to destroy them on the world stage. Your power is waning and waxing. It's disappearing, folks. You shot your shot, you missed the king, and now you're fucked.
Ever. And truly, the Likud Party media ran this story in earnest. In earnest. The FBI has been contacted about Candace Owens and a pineapple pizza. We didn't receive an update on that Jerusalem Post, by the way. If you could let us know how that investigation is going, because there's no worse victimhood, and there is, I can think of no demented more form of anti-Semitism than when someone receives a pineapple pizza that they didn't order. We're very serious people here in the West. I think I would be remiss if I didn't also thank Ben Shapiro just for
Ben Shapiro. Look at that smug, swarmy, cocksucking look on his face. Look at him. He's like G2 to me. He's got that swarmy,
oh dear God,
cocksucker smile on his face all the time. Like the
jump
kitty
out
that
the
always
window
gets the
now.
cream. Doesn't he? Look at him. He's so self-satisfied.
For real.
being Ben Shapiro. I think we all just want to thank Ben Shapiro for being.
And by the way, my wife is a doctor. My doctor wife.
Ben Shapiro. He's just a
Listen, gang.
phenomenal human being who is well loved. And lastly, of course, some people walk so I could run. I can think of no person who walks further than Kanye West. My dear friend. I absolutely love you, Kanye.
Hashtag Kanye did nothing wrong. Hashtag free Kanye.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, the conversation is very different than it was 2 years ago when Kanye West won this award and he did not accept it. I don't know where he was. He's somewhere in Tokyo now. I bumped into him a couple of months ago, but I do want to borrow from his Grammy acceptance speech because it's incredibly relatable and it is exactly how I am.
Oh, sorry. By request, Rats to the Moon would like it if I would leave comments up a little bit longer so that she can squint and read.
Facts.
Go, old lady.
I'm feeling right now. Take a listen.
Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Woo! I did it, you guys. I guess we'll never know. You guys thought I was going to spaz out, freak out. No, I won. Fair and square. Take that. All jokes aside, though, you guys, obviously, we know the anti-Semitism, that the charge no longer has any real meaning, because if it did have any real meaning, the person who would have won for Anti-Semite of the Year would have been Bibi Netanyahu himself. Obviously,
Bingo.
there's been no individual that has murdered and killed and maimed more actual Semites than Bibi Netanyahu has done this year. And he deserves to be
shots fired.
Investigated and put under arrest by the ICC, is going through a corruption trial pertaining to what's happening in October 7th. And the people that the Likud party media are targeting are those who are following this.
Oh, by the way, what the hell's going on with our weather? It got so warm today that as I was letting my dog out around, I don't know, 5:30 p.m., as I was walking out my back door, there was a mosquito flying around in the middle of December, almost into January. What the actual French is going on with our weather? What crazy conspiracy corner reality have we warped into because of the Hadron Collider particle density thing smashing into? I don't even know, dude. Mandela effect, all this other stuff. By the way, did you express that you wanted to have some interest in bringing up a Mr. Tesla on a future show?
Yes.
Okay, so a future conspiracy corner with Mr. Tesla.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that I sent the mosquito special delivery just for you.
No, I know about the mosquitoes in your neck of the woods. Those things are giant, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. They're called crane flies.
Crane flies.
Corruption trial in earnest and recognizing that something went very wrong on October 7th, and a person who is being accused of, changing the transcripts on October 7th and intentionally feeding the West false narratives, as he is being accused of right now in Israel, even though your Western media will not cover this, is somebody that is suspicious, a person who has been caught on tape saying that he never meant to have peace with the Palestinians. In case you guys have not seen that clip, I know I.
Uh-oh. Come on, guys. Don't run away now. Uh-oh. We lost a few people. Are you afraid you don't want to hear the truth? You don't want to hear about your dear leader, Netanyahu? You don't want to hear what kind of actual Zionist, disgusting monster this man is?
Showed it before, but this is a really good teaching moment for you guys.
Yeah, I don't like it when you run away from it. Yeah, push back into it. I don't want you climbing up the bedboard, trying to get away from it. No. Come back here. Come back here. Come back here. Let's go.
Regarding the Abraham Accord,
the internet. It said it was needed a break. Anyway, let's all reset and get ready for some Hill Pirate Studios in 7 minutes. Your money's on me for what? Oh. Yeah, I have my means, Toker. I have my means. So we will see you guys in a few minutes. Good to have you live. Yeah, Toker, I have my means to take care of that.